The restaurant has always been considered a walk on the wild side, particularly in the early years because it's on the other side of the tracks. Traditionally, you hear, oh, they're on the other side of the tracks. Well, we are literally on the other side. We are surrounded on three sides with tracks. The Red Iguana is a Mexican restaurant that's been in Salt Lake City since 1985. It was begun by Lucy, my wife's parents, who moved here to start a new life and bring Mexican food to a city that had very few choices in Mexican food at the time. I met Lucy in a restaurant. She was my server, and I asked her to marry me that night.
I know, pretty crazy. I grew up in a restaurant. I grew up around people, I grew up around food. My parents were really amazing cooks, and all I can remember is just having some really amazing, delicious, unique, very Mexican dishes growing up as a kid.
The Red Iguana, when we first took over, it began to grow exceptionally. But we discovered also that they were going to put a light rail to the airport right down our street. And at the same time, we were approached to be on the Diners, Drives, and Dives program, and our business tripled. We really were up to an hour-and-a-half waits every night of the week, and it was beyond success and could very easily turn into disaster. What was most important was for us to take care of the customers that had been coming for decades. So Red Iguana 2 was the decision. We immediately found this warehouse 2 blocks away and converted it into our restaurant. I have some dice on the wall back here that remind me of how much of a gamble it really was.
The 2 restaurants are the same. I love saying that. The same menu, same food, my employees go back and forth, my cooks go back and forth.
Within the year, the second location was doing better than the first location, and the first location didn't suffer. So all these things were putting pressure on our environment, and then our neighbor came and said, would you like to buy my warehouse?
We'd all eat in here and we'd all come here with our families, and so when Bill came in kind of bustling with all these ideas about an expansion that would cut the wait down, we were happy to jump on board.
One of the reasons that I selected Lloyd Architects to be the architect is his family is from this part of the city.
My great-great-grandfather and grandmother were immigrants to this country from Wales. They literally walked across the plains with the Mormon pioneers and settled not 2 blocks from where we're sitting. Everything that we needed to do had to reinforce that concept, that this was a family restaurant and that this was her family's legacy. So it wasn't designing from a chart, it was really just feeling organically what is the best thing to do here along the railroad tracks.
We have now a 100-foot patio that runs the full width of the 2 warehouse buildings. It's a place for people to come and enjoy the train watching. I mean, they're literally 30 feet from full commercial, fast-moving, graffiti-covered trains.
We've had a lot of projects where we're trying to find the story. This literally was exposing the story.
Half the walls in this room that I'm sitting in are recycled bricks, recycled wood, recycled tile that we've preserved and harvested from parts of this project.
That's really the vibe of Red Iguana. It kind of grows piece by piece, sort of naturally.
I always tell people that when they come to a Red Iguana restaurant, it's like going to a wedding reception because the tables and chairs are always too close together, and there's always people of diversity you can't imagine, but they're all connected in some way at the wedding. Well, they're all connected at the Red Iguana by the food.
My mother was always wanting to educate the public on Mexican cuisine. That was her passion. And it wasn't received as well back then as it is now. You would never see a mole on a menu, and now we do 7 to 9 mole sauces in any given day. The recipes are pretty sacred.
Lucy and Bill were very intentional about investing in the neighborhood because they have a great deal of pride in the community, and they wanted the millions of people that visit their business to come and experience all that the neighborhood has to offer.
Lucy grew up on the west side. It's a very multi-ethnic and diverse part of the city, and it has a kind of underdog, can-do attitude in the people that live here. And I grew up in a neighborhood just like it in California, so I know that. And so we both appreciated doing something in the neighborhood for the neighborhood.